We've got John Dobson and Ans van Rijn. Although looking at the team, obviously 3 days between games, we made 7 changes. It's quite exciting to see some of the guys coming in, obviously very talented, guys like Ruan and Sergil. Also, in the loose trio, we've got Dion coming in that's not making our team weaker. So excited for what we can do tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think we've chosen our strongest team in the circumstances. I don't think in my career we've gone 3-day turnaround like this. It's very tough, but with a disappointing result, not necessarily about the performance, everything, but disappointing result. So that we have to do this as a really well. In fact, this game was always going to be a must-win game for us if we wanted to be live in this competition. So chosen our best team. There are just practical considerations, like you suggested in the release. Norma, he's on the red line, the guy with a bigger injury to this. So we're lucky to have Dion Fourie surge back when Siabelo's out. JD's a blow, of course, but I think Ernst and David, they were the locks that did so well for us in the Rainbow Cup at Loftus. So I think at the end we bring out a really strong team, and the most important thing for us today is just to get energy and excitement for the game.
All right, obviously not a lot of training time in between games, but plenty of motivation. Obviously, we are on the log. We've got another possible last game at Newlands, and it looks like it's going to be pouring with rain, so that's probably quite fitting.
Yeah, I think so we played a few last games at Newlands, but this looks like the last Currie Cup game at Newlands. But I think the most important thing is the pride of this group. I don't think anybody can accuse this group of not having played with energy and passion and everything like that, and there'll be even more tomorrow night, knowing the position we're in. As I say, even if we held on at 40-26 or whatever it was on Saturday, we'd still have to win this game. It's just a home game against a team in a similar part of the log, so there'll be a lot of passion out there.
Yeah, Ernst, something we mentioned on Sunday night after the game was last 2 games you played, you scored 40 points at Newlands. So obviously something's working. Attack is not bad. It's about getting everything right. So is that exciting to know that we're not playing bad rugby, but we just need to tweak a couple of things and we can really...
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think we said a few months ago, people were asking where's our tries going to come from. Our attack wasn't getting into flow. I think the last few weeks have really shown what we can do if we sort of play in the right areas and we keep the ball a bit with our exciting backs and sort of a mobile back. But obviously, still looking at Sunday's result, it's not good enough, and we're disappointed. Like Dobbo said, not necessarily in everything and the way we played, but in the result. I think we have to take ownership of the last 10-15 minutes where we didn't close out the game. I think us as leaders need to learn from this, but still a lot to be excited. But have to make sure that we tweak the small things. I think the biggest thing is we can't let the same mistakes happen again going towards the end of this competition.
Sorry, another thing I just wanted to quickly raise is that, a lot's been said about defence, but if you look at the entire round of the Currie Cup, the lowest score from any team was 31 points. So it's not something that's kind of unique to us, is it? It's something that every team's, all the teams are scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, it's probably, people will say, poor defence in the Currie Cup, but I think in a funny way, rugby in South Africa after the last Currie Cup actually needed to see some tries being scored. I think the product here at the stadium's get reopened. We need a decent product. And the Currie Cup, with the nature of the competition at the moment being a much more developmental competition, it needs to have skills things. I think what people must also factor in is that I think of all those, there was a 44 draw and our 40-all draw. The rest of those draws are all 0-0s. So, they said the province defences, we haven't played any of the 0-0s. Some teams have got 3 0-0s, which obviously makes your defence record look better. But I think the more important thing in the Currie Cup is that the guys play more rugby. I think it's important for the skills, and I think that side is pleasing. We would like to defend a bit better this week. But we mustn't look at if you look at that game, Cole, it's province 40 points, which is true. But only one of them came from sort of general play, which was that first try. And the rest were from 5-metre set pieces, whether it's a scrum. And we didn't necessarily mauled over, but they scored after the maul or whatever the story is. If you're going to give 7 5-metre set pieces, you're going to put yourself under pressure. And that's personal discipline, which we need to look at more.
And you brought in a decent fall-off this week as well, so more stopping will be good.
In the land of the blind.
All right, guys. We can turn it over to you for questions to these two now. Thanks.
John, I know you guys like to talk up the opposition a bit and all sorts of things, but you're facing a team that's in desperate trouble. I mean, they've lost another couple of senior players. I don't know if you've seen their team, but they're relying very heavily on a really bunch of young rookies. and they keep folding in the second half, and they just, in my mind, just a desperate team. How do you keep the guys motivated, knowing that you actually playing a team that's in dire trouble?
No, look, we're not short of motivation. We know the position we're in. I think they're only, I might be wrong, 1 point below us on the log or 2 points below us on the log. I think they've got 3 or 4 of these 4-point each draws. So we may have won more games than them, but they're breathing down us. And everywhere on the log is so congested from 3 to 7. So another issue is that backline. I haven't seen the team yet, but I've got a good idea that backline will be pretty much the same backline that's played over the last few weeks. With Warner, Hendricks, Berger, Wendy, Stian Pena, I'd imagine, Raps, and if you don't. Pretty established, good backline. I know the conditions might not suit that. I see what your point is about the pack, but I mean, our backs are against the wall. It was always a must-win game for us. So, what the nature of the Lions team is that coming out has got no impact on our motivation. I think our motivation is very high. We have to win probably all 3 or 2 of the next 3 games. So I don't know what becomes last 8 game or one before last 16 game for us. So we won't lack for motivation. I understand what you're saying about the Lions, but they, I say, very experienced backline did really well in lots of games. At Ellis Park, those backs were pretty impressive, so against the Bulls. So we're aware of the threat that they pose, but hopefully we can lay a bit of a platform up front.
John, just as a follow-up, I understand what you say about the backline, and it is the backline you said. So it is right from Elliot to Warner. You're correct there, but in order for that backline to perform, they actually need to get the ball, which is what the problem's been all season.
Yeah. I think the forwards obviously an area. I don't think Ernst is sitting next to me. I don't think we're happy either with our pack has been over the last games. Our senior guys, I think we're capable of better. We lost the scrum penalty battle against the Pumas. I think we've got 3 fit loose heads on our book who's the combined age of our 3 loose heads that we're looking at is 62 years old. We're playing a 19-year-old hooker at the end there, and we obviously lost a couple of lineouts. So we're not thrilled with the way we're going up front at the moment. We're trying to build another generation. So, but having said that, if we perform to our potential of that pack, then we should be in a position to dominate, and that's very much the plan. And especially if it's a wet Newlands tomorrow night. So yes, point taken. Yeah.
Dobbo, with that in mind, getting Nettling for Shear back in the starting lineup, that's quite big for you, isn't it?
Yeah, like he's a really good tight head who's pushing, to advance his career. I'll be absolutely frank. I think we can challenge, like I said, in the Jan's challenge our pack to be perhaps a little bit more. But having Nettling back is a big boost for us. He's going to be our number 1 tighter going to rugby championship. So that's the balancing act we're in this competition. I don't think we probably like our opposition tomorrow. We're not running into the market, bringing lots of players at the moment. And we've got to look to our youngsters. And that's why we had to give Sazi some opportunities. But, now that we're getting towards the sharp end, a guy like Nettling is a very big boost for us.
Double, like you said, every match is almost a must-win match, and you previously said at a stage you will have to start playing finals rugby. Can we expect you guys to start playing finals rugby with more forwards orientated, or you're still going to keep on the expansive style that you're playing at this stage?
Yeah, I think I look at it as Ern said, we're really happy. We're happy with our attack. I think 7 o'clock at night at Newlands in the middle of winter is a slightly different environment, and as you say, it's finals rugby. So there may be a slightly bit more element of territory, but this tournament, it's really it's an important tournament for us, but it's also part of our preparation for what we're trying to do with this group in terms of the United Rugby. So we want to keep our attack, but maybe that attack is slightly more direct, and maybe there's an element more territory than there was, say, for example, last week. So yeah, not quite finals rugby yet, but maybe a bit more pragmatic given the conditions and where we are in the log.
Dobbo, you guys obviously wouldn't really have time to address anything significantly what happened on Sunday. There's the issue of stopping the rolling balls. Now, what exactly can you do to address that part of your game? Is there anything technique-wise? Do the guys have to front more physically, or or how can you address that issue?
Yeah, Steve. I think if you go the stats people give us some mauls per meter average on each game, and we haven't lost one of those battles since I can remember for a very long time. I think we averaged 2.7 meters per maul on the weekend, and they averaged 2. They did get the 2. Was it 1 or 2 where they actually went directly over? And I think there were some faults in our system. If you're going to contest, you mean your jumpers are up in the air, and that means if you lose that contest, you're under pressure to stop it. And if we're going to contest, we really have to be effective in that contest. Otherwise, you're putting yourself under pressure. So we had some situations where we had half jumps, on a bit of detail where we counteracted our own sack. So that's probably one of our, in the split element of today's training, that'll be a key area of us. I don't think we were as disciplined in our system as we could be. I think if you look at our previous games against some good mauling teams like the Cheetahs and the Bulls, we didn't give away too much. We knew they'd come in the mauls, and the problem is, and that's one of the things I like about the mauls is if you put a lot of numbers in to stop a maul, because we like mauling ourselves. I think we're a good mauling team. Then it gives, if they put numbers in, or we put numbers in, it gives opportunities around the side, and that's probably what really cost us on the weekend. I know they got going in 2, but some of them we stopped really well, but not really well organised. Maybe if you got a hooker running on a scrum off, that wasn't the best. That's where we can get a bit in our detail and a bit of our detail around the actual contest, and that'll make a difference. But it's probably our main. Long answer. It's our main work on today.
Obviously, I guess what also put you under a bit of pressure was the extent to which the Pumas got hold of possession, in particular, because that will obviously put you.
So who got possession?
The Pumas had a significant amount of possession, especially putting pressure on you guys.
Steve, if you're going to give, our other probably most ignominious moment this season was losing at home to Brickwas in the last minute, and that was exactly the same penalty count, which was 17 penalties. You don't want to give an opposition team. You want single-figure penalties. You want single figures, especially against South African teams. You want single-figure lineouts. We gave 21 lineouts. It's a record to the Pumas. Which probably 15 of those came from penalties. So, and a lot of those in our 22. So that gives a lot of possession. And also, we defended really well. I didn't feel like it, but maybe made too many tackles before we got the turnover. I can't remember the exact stat for that. So position-wise, they had a lot of the ball. I think it'd be fair to say it didn't look like they were going to crack open our defence, but the issue came when we gave the penalty and they got into our 22.
And it looks like you're giving up quite a bit of seniority this weekend. Juan de Jong isn't there, and Jade is out. Can you just give us a sort of rundown on, is injury a factor there, or in terms of?
We haven't gone for any sort of rest or rotation. The only red flag was around Nama, because he's got a really long injury list, and he's done quite a few 80 minutes in a row. Yeah, so the medical staff flagged him, and also I think Dion will bring us. But Juan's injured, Ciabello's injured, Rickus is injured, and JD's injured. So those are all enforced. Those were enforced changes, and obviously Netlin comes. He's so he's probably our top tight end in this campaign. And this is our skipper. It's great to have him back. I think Dion Free's been excellent every time he's come on the field. So maybe those boost us a little bit. Maybe Ruan Nell back, and obviously Sergio back. So we probably just sort of break even in the credit scheme.
And how serious are those injuries?
Hey. I think JD's Ciabella could be a while. Rickus's concussion, and Juan might be ready for Saturday. Hopefully he is. Yeah, Mike just made a point. It's the first time since 2018, so in 3 years that Nama Club has played 5 games in a row. So we don't want to put him back in a moon boot.
Sorry, not to harbor on the injuries. What Ciabella and Juan? I've got Rickus as a concussion, and then the other 3 I don't think I've got the.
So JD's got a wrist injury, going for scans, but it looks of some gravity. It's not. I think greater than a few weeks. Rickus concussion, Juan ankle could be right for Saturday, and Ciabella's pulled a grade 2 tear of his groin, so he's also a 4 to 6 week. pretty because he was outstanding on Saturday.
Yeah, so I guess the Lions aren't alone in suffering from injuries.
And I think when we went through our list today, it's been the team of about 23 guys, but obviously a lot of those aren't first choices, But I think as I say, we haven't brought in players to the extent of some other teams, but we know. I think we played superheroes Saturday, whatever it was last year in August, and I can only remember maybe 2 weeks off or something like that, or 3 weeks off. So, and we're going to keep going, and we have a 2 week or 3 week break off. This depends when we finish this competition, go into a URC, probably join Currie Cup. So I think the sort of sick bay is going to get fuller and fuller.
Have another kid and you can take a couple of weeks.
If you look at the threats this weekend, Dobbo, or opportunities for you, do you think the scrum is an opportunity to attack? And then conversely, do you see their midfield potentially as the biggest threat?
Midfield is a threat. Yeah, Steve, I think they're one of the better centre combinations domestically. Great fits, the cutlass and the rapier. But I think scrum time, and I'm aware that, a couple of the tight heads aren't playing, but they're probably also the toughest scrum in domestic rugby. And so I think they've got a reasonably good scrum culture up there. Obviously, it is an opportunity for us with Neerklen back and maybe a couple of their changes. So, but I'm not expecting that to be a sort of one-sided affair by any stretch of the imagination. Steve Satoli will come on, and he's really playing good rugby at the moment. So, no, I'm not expecting, but we want to be on the right side of the penalty count, which we weren't against the Pumas.